Hey, it's Az Baldock here, empowerment coach and new world creator, and I'm here with my good friend Jasper Brown, and he's just embarking on a journey of a lifetime. He's taken the rest of the year off to travel around Asia, and I guess when I travelled, it's what opened me up to spirituality, and it's basically this belief in a higher power, but I've come to call it something else now. I see it as an organising force, and everyone, like, a lot of people have this belief that everything happens for a reason, and when you really expose yourself to new environments and new situations, throw yourself into the unknown and really surrender, I mean, this organising force really reveals itself, and you always end up in amazing places if you push through the fears and you follow your heart. So I'm going to throw it over to you, Jasper. How have you experienced this organising force in your journey so far?
Well, to start off with, I think it's an interesting question on one level because, unlike yourself, I've got a background in science, and I don't understand the world in spiritual terms in the same way that you do. Mm-hmm. So for me, the organising force that we're talking about is something that I've only really started to experience lately, since I started freeing my life up and giving myself to the time and space to travel and live each day as it comes, without any sort of structure in my life.
Yeah.
So for me, the process of that, it started just before I went travelling, where I started listening to my intuition a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I had more free time and I knew that I was about to leave the security of living at home. I started to I guess I began challenging myself a little bit more and throwing myself into situations that were a little bit uncomfortable, that I wouldn't usually have done, because I thought, shit, soon enough I'm going to be making those decisions 100 times a day.
That's right.
And I need to follow my instinct, my gut, or your spider sense, or whatever it is you want to call it. I just needed to start training that.
Yeah.
So I started doing those things, and I realised that those choices that I was making in an instant, just on how I felt, they ended up more often than not being the right choice, or being a good choice with favourable outcomes for my life. That I began to realise there's something in this. I had a tendency, maybe because of my science background and the way that I've been trained to think, of really analysing stuff before I made a decision. And it's so easy to just get bogged down in the minutiae of all the different things that can
Excuses.
Excuses. At the end of the day, it is an excuse. That is delaying your ability to make a choice.
Yes, 100%, my friend.
And when I started doing this, I had this realisation, like, I need to, there's something in this. I've got to keep following this. So I did. And that led to me freeing up my life completely. I just jumped on a plane to Bali, and here we are. I guess the funny thing was we'd never planned to be here at the same time.
We hadn't.
That was just one example of this strange organising force that seems to keep, now that I started becoming aware of it, it keeps reoccurring in my life. And I don't know if maybe you and I are just running on the same frequency or something like that, because we seem to be thinking very similar things at the same time, interpreting things in the same way, and making similar judgments about stuff. Which is incredibly satisfying to have someone on the same level, where we're almost reading each other's thoughts. And I've noticed that this is cropping up in other ways in my life as well. You're about to leave to go home tonight, but other people have contacted me, and it lines up, or it turns out that they're going to be in Bali at the same time as I am. When I got here, I was a little bit angsty and worried because I didn't know anyone. I didn't have any friends here, and I didn't really know what to do with myself. I had this sense that I needed to find my people, or find a group of people that I would then travel with. But I realised upon getting in touch with these organising forces, we're calling it, that if I just sit back and let those decisions come to me, let things open up and just relax and see what comes my way, and then I can just use that intuition to make choices upon that.
Exactly.
So someone might send me a message or give me a call or say hello to me in the street, and if I follow that, that might lead to something that is again favourable in my life. So yeah, it's incredibly freeing. In that way.
Have you found that when you might be in a certain situation, your gut might be telling you one thing, but you might be having those doubts or excuses or something?
Absolutely.
But you still do it. Do you still honour?
Sometimes it's hard.
Yeah.
There's times when my gut says do one thing, and my head, the brain chatter will stop me from following that choice. And then of course you spend the next half an hour just, why didn't I do that? Why'd you bitch out? Now I'm just sitting alone at a fucking bus stop when I should have gone and talked to that group of people, or jumped in that car, or you know.
Yep, 100%.
So yeah.
But we all learn. It's once you have the awareness of it, and you are aware that your gut's telling you something, yet you listen to the head, then you learn those lessons, and you make a stronger connection with that gut, and then eventually it's just effortless. And
the best ones were when I was able to get over the brain chatter and get over the hump and just decide to do it anyway, and thought, fuck it.
Yeah.
What have I got to lose? Nothing.
Exactly.
And it turned out amazingly well.
And that is the beauty of travelling and being in different environments, and being totally, separate from the comforts of home and people's opinions and stuff. Like, when you're out in that new country, in that new environment, I find it's a lot easier just to go up and start talking to that person. Or
you kind of have to.
Yeah.
You're forced to in a way.
You're right.
Whereas when you're at home, you're in a very comfortable environment, you have a certain routine and structure to your life that you tend to follow out of habit.
Yeah.
When you're travelling, you don't have so many rules guiding you or habits defining the way you behave.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
You are forced to open yourself up and follow those choices, otherwise you're going to be sitting up alone in your hotel room again.
That's right. That's right.
And I think the take-home message from this is the hardest bit is doing it that first few times.
Yeah.
When your body, everything is tensing up and telling you,
fight or flight.
Yeah, and you're going, nah, fucking, you make excuses. No, I don't want to do it. Oh, I don't actually care, they look busy, or, something like that.
Exactly.
And your heart's pounding in your chest, and then if you back out, you feel like a dickhead. If you do it, and you push over that, past that barrier,
and
that's your body, you're growing as a person.
You are growing as a person, and even if it doesn't go the way you'd hope or the way you plan, just the fact that you overcome that hump, you get a certain, feeling of like self-belief, like, I can do it even though it didn't work out. Hey, at least I gave it a shot. And
you probably get a release of adrenaline and stuff like that, so you get a bit of a pump anyway. And if it does go down well, you're rewarded in more ways than one.
Yeah, spot on. Oh.
And if not, then maybe next time it'll be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So it might not work out the first few times, but down the road, when you are able to push through that barrier with ease, then you're winning.
Spot on. I'm so excited to watch your journey unfold, my brother. You're just so in alignment. And I just know you're just going to have the most amazing experience. And I can't wait to see it, man. So, thanks.
No problem. Cheers.
All right. As Bulldog signing out, empowerment coach and new world creator. You just listen to Jasper Brown sprinkle some of his wisdom on your day. Enjoy.